for this, all right? With that thought in mind, let's ask a word of wisdom from our Father, and let's just go into the Word and see if we can determine what Ezekiel did see, okay? Ezekiel chapter 1, and let's pick it up, if we may, in verse 4. And verse 4 reads, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind." Now make a mental note of this term, whirlwind. We're going to be using it more than one time. A whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself. It was orange, and I mean the glow was present from it, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of ember, out of the midst of the fire. Now, in the Hebrew tongue, when we say color, there really isn't a word. Let's just, if we may, let's call that word color up as it is. You've heard me use ayin, the Hebrew letter ayin, which in ancient symbols here, and it means, as you read there, a primitive word, an eye, literally or figuratively. By analogy, a fountain as the eye of the landscape. Now, when you see this letter on, let's say, a petroglyph or a pictograph, it means, and it being a circle, like our O, it means look. Look and see, and then the message will follow. The very word means not color as we would in English, but it appeared to the eye, ayin, not a leaf. Now that's the ox in the Hebrew alphabet, but this is the ayin, which means the eye. We looked to the eye, it appeared, it had an appearance. It had an appearance of what? Let's bring up the word ember in Hebrew, and then a lot of your thought with it will be solved. And it's kashmir. And it's of uncertain derivative, and it's probably bronze or polished spectrum metal. What it is, it's highly polished bronze. And there's a lot of difference in amber than kashmir, a highly polished bronze. I mean, we're talking about metal here, not just a color of a glow of something. I mean, we have an object here. And the material, as Ezekiel would be very familiar with, was highly polished bronze. And so we're not dealing with a vision necessarily. We actually see an object here. And it appears to ayin, to the eye, its appearance is as highly polished bronze. Now, he'll give us the shape of it here. You see, going back to the Hebrew gives us a clearer understanding. Now, can we say absolutely that it was highly polished bronze? No, ayin, it appeared to be. I'm sure, and I can guarantee you, it would be a metal so far above anything we have in polished bronze that that it would make man's technology look very small. All right. So what Ezekiel is saying, there was an action, a whirling, with this coming in this cloud of brilliance, and out of the action appeared the highly polished bronze, we'll call it a vehicle. Okay? Now, we continue then, pick it up again with verse 5, and let's move on ahead. Also out of the midst thereof come the likeness of 4 living creatures. There were 4 of these things, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. In other words, we have compare Revelation 4:6, where we have the 4 living creatures, Zoe, in the Zoom. Okay, verse 6. And everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. Now, when God appears, he uses symbology a great deal. And we'll talk, anytime you've got something up here, there's got to be something there that looks like wings, all right? It's airborne. How does a man that has never seen anything besides a chariot describe something? So don't lose touch with the fact that Ezekiel is not really qualified to explain a circular vehicle such as this, but he does a good job. I don't want to take away from him. Verse 7. And their feet were straight feet. That means the Hebrew term is unjointed. And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. You know, there's a calf's foot is straight jointed. It doesn't bend like a man's leg. And they sparkle like the color of burnished brass. And here you have it. What does a landing gear look like on a vehicle? And I'm going to, let's go one more verse and you'll understand where I'm headed here. Verse 8. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides, and they four had their faces and their wings. One more, 9. Their wings were jointed one to another. They turned not when they went, and they went every one straight forward. And verse 10 gives you the description. Verse 10. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man, Adam, and the face of a lion on the right side. What's always parked on the right in Israel? Judah. What's his symbol? A lion. All right. And they four had the face of an ox on the left side, and they four had the face of an eagle. Numbers chapter 2, verses 10, 3, 18, and 25 will explain these things to you. They are symbols of Israel and the position in which they encamped. All right? So understand the symbology and take from that we can tell by looking at this object that certainly it is symbolic, or its message is to Israel. Verse 11. After you go to Numbers chapter 2, you will understand more in depth, a different subject for a different time. 11. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. What's he seeing? Verse 12. And they went every one straight forward, whither the Spirit was to go. What Spirit? Well, the Spirit was heavy there, all right, well enough. They went, and they turned not when they went. And I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. Verse 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, and went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Now, he's having a very difficult time describing.
Hello, family. This is James Sankey. It's June the 17th, 2020. Okay, this is Pastor Murray. Name of the church there is Shepherd's Chapel. It's a little small church in northwest Arkansas. And, of course, Pastor Murray here, he's passed away a couple years ago. Now, his son continues on with the ministry. It's a pretty good ministry, but I listened to Pastor Murray here for years. And Ezekiel is what really got me really interested in the Bible. When I heard about Ezekiel, I knew right then he was talking about some kind of spacecraft, and man, that really interested me. So anyhow, let me, this may be a 2 or 3 part video, but we'll see. Y'all stand by for the Part 2.